Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio, and today we're going to make another quilling flower. So I came across this short by Artisty Home, and I'll link that below if you're interested. And she's making this quilled flower, which I was immediately attracted to the design of the flower as well as the colors, because I've said I like bright colors. So I decided to go ahead and watch the short. Ended up finding out there's two of them featuring this flower. One's a little bit different than the other. The flower's the same, but the short's different. And I liked it so much I wanted to try and recreate it. However, she doesn't include any instructions in the short because it's short, it's hard to get all that stuff in there. So I thought I'd go ahead and try to figure out her recipe, so to speak. I didn't figure it out completely, but I did end up with two completed flowers that I really like, and both are very similar but yet different. And obviously, of course, since I didn't write anything down, I don't have necessarily all the measurements, but I'm going to go back and try to explain my process while I finish assembling the second flower and just kind of tell you what I did. So this isn't even her finished flower here. It's similar, but she had another layer on top yet, and I didn't do that. A couple of reasons. One, these were getting really small for me. Two, I decided to make a coil, put it on the back, and I tried to cup it, but I didn't wait long enough, again, for the glue to dry. That seems to be a problem of mine. So I ended up flattening it. Plus, because the points were going down instead of the thick end, they just didn't really want to stick, and so I really had to put a lot of pressure, which is why I ended up flattening it back out unintentionally. But by the time I put this smaller center on there, I was able to push it down a little bit, and I think it turned out really nice, and I was even able to make the tiniest little coil to fit in the center there. So I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Again, it's not exactly like hers, but that's okay. I did decide while I had these parts laying all over my desk, that I thought this was too small for this flower. In my head, it just seemed too small. So I went back and I made, instead of using 8 small teardrops, I used 6, which is where I got this one. But then I decided it was too big and hid most of the flower. So I went ahead and used these. This is 8 small teardrops, and they are a half of my 10.5-inch strips. So they are 5 1/4 inches long, and so they made really nice little teardrops. I believe I put them, let's see, it was either in the size 8 or the size 9 hole. It could have even been the 7, but it was one of those 3. I really should have written it down. But I wanted it a nice kind of tight coil, barely loose at all. I feel like I have better luck with those, getting them to, to uncoil nicely. So there's 8 of those little centers in the, or 8 of those half strips in the center flower here. Now the outside flower, I used 2 strips for the center, and the center is in 2 pieces, and so there's 1 strip on this side. I'm going to show you this one because it's prettier. 1 strip on this side and 1 strip on that side, and again, those are my 10.5-inch strips. And then I used 1 10.5-inch strip to wrap it, and I just kept wrapping until I was out of the strip, or until I ended up at the bottom of the flower so that I could cut it off. And I didn't have a lot of waste on those. Let me show you. This is all I had left over, not very much at all. So 10.5 inches minus 1 3/4 inches, if you want to, measure perfectly. But my world, things don't ever work out perfectly, so I'd rather just play it safe and cut it when I'm done. For the coil, I just used some scrap white that was laying here on my desk, but even my whites weren't the same color. And then the center, I believe, was just a leftover piece of the pink. And that it measures, let me see here, 2 inches. So that's what I used for the center coil. Now, I said I had made this one to go on the first flower, but then I decided it was too big. I didn't like it. So this was what I came up with the second flower. I tried to get better at shaping because hers are definitely shaped different than mine. I think I came closer on the first flower than I did on the second, even though, you know, felt like I had a better handle on what I was doing the second time around. You know, and it could be different paper, different, you know, thicknesses, different. There could be any number of reasons for that. Just, you know, my technique, but I feel like I captured her idea better on these petals. They're rounded at the bottom, better rounded at the bottom, but they weren't as wide. So, you know, I still think they're pretty. It's just, it didn't look like hers, and I actually came closer on my first attempt. I did use the quilling comb for this. This is my smallest comb. I have another one that I've ordered from Walmart. It's not a quilling comb, it's a hair comb. It's one of those, what do you call them, rat tail combs. It's got the long pointy end where you can help part your hair and stuff. But it's metal, I think, or it's very stiff looking, so I won't bend my teeth. But this is what I used for this one. So then to assemble this one, because I wasn't happy with the way this option worked out, I went ahead and made what it looked like she actually did, was made a little cone. So I had talked the other day about how you cut a circle out and then you put a snip up to the center. I don't know how well that shows up. Wrong way. And then you kind of pull it over and glue it to itself. Again, wrong way. Where am I going? Right there. So I don't know how well you can see that, but it just makes this little bitty cone. And I'm going to try today to finish this second flower using this cone idea. And again, it's going to depend on, you know, whether or not I wait long enough for my glue to dry, and whether or not I want my points going in or out. So I'm kind of just playing with it. I kind of like the points going out. It won't really lay, see, the more I mess with it, it won't really lay correctly because it is on that cone shape. But that's roughly what it would look like if the petals were going correctly. And then I thought I'd put this in the center, even though it's probably going to be too big. The other thing I can do is I can just, instead of using the cone, if I feel like it's going to give me a hard time, I can just try gluing. My cork has kind of got stuff on it. It's getting in my way. I can just kind of try gluing them together like this. That might not be so bad. I did end up using my cork board and my pens to make these centers, because she keeps the eye, the tiniest part of it, the coil, toward the bottom. So I did end up having to use my pins to pull that coil down, pin it in place, and then glue it. I tried with these to kind of do it by hand, and then it just left a big blob of glue that just was kind of visible. In fact, I can kind of see one right there, which now I'm going to be preoccupied with getting off of there. But anyway, so, you know, you just have options. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Don't let this process frustrate you. Okay, that's not too bad. How does this look on top then? So, because I've got 6 and 6, so I kind of want to offset them a little bit. There we go. That's not too bad. And then I probably could make something small for the center there. So what I need to do then is kind of glue those together without making them move too much, which is not my forte, but we will try it. So I'm just kind of putting the glue out here where it felt like they were trying to touch. I didn't even try putting the points toward the center, which probably would have been okay. Alright, so I'll let that sit for a second while I just carefully slide this one out of the way and do the same thing to it. And we'll just carefully slide that back in there. Alright, so I'm going to let that sit. So while I'm doing that, I'll show you how I did the comb. Now you could use your, if you have a husking board, you could certainly use that. It will make your loops further apart, which is fine. Or you can, you know, if you're comfortable just kind of shaping it by hand, putting your loops out there by hand, you can certainly do that. I'm not comfortable doing that, as I have explained and now demonstrated. That does not work for me. I did use also my little curling coach to make the back of this big one. I kind of used a little bit of everything, but just so you know, it did help me to keep that kind of nice and flat. So for the comb, let's see, let's grab a piece of this pink here, just because that's what I've got some blue on the outside already. Well, you know what, how about, I'm just trying to keep it kind of easy by grabbing what's handy. I don't know if I like this purple and blue together. No, all right, let's go back to the pink. Or we've got purple and purple. Let's see what that looks like. I need to make some more pockets for my strips, because I've got them laying all over my desk and it's a mess. But I'm having so much fun doing this, I don't want to take the time to clean. Let's see. Oh, those are okay. I mean, I like the contrast of the blue, but that's not bad. All right, so we're going to take one strip of this. Now, I did learn a new method from somebody, I'm sorry, I don't remember who, where she takes and she just loosely bends over the tip of her paper or her strip and glues it down, leaving a little loop. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see. She leaves a little loop. And so let's do that. Split that back up. I might not have left it quite big enough, but we'll see. And somewhere I have tweezers, and that's just kind of what I use to hold it, sort of. Yeah, it helps if you get both sides in the tweezers. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to put I'm not going to put my glue on there because I'm going to need it. So let's let that dry for a second. Hopefully that's good enough. So we just got that one strip there. Alright, so we're going to put our loop on here, and we're going to start at the end. You really could start wherever you want, but that's the easiest for me. And I'm using my smallest toothed comb, or the one with the narrowest gaps in it, just because I prefer that. But you could use anything, honestly. It just depends on what you like. Alright, so we're going to add, each time we go around, we're going to add a little bit of glue to the tip of or to the bottom of the coil. That should not already, there we go. See, that should not already be dried. Couldn't think of my word. So I noticed the first one I did yesterday, because I like to pull things tight, was so tight I could hardly get it slided off the comb. It was a real effort for me. So I made a conscious effort to be a little bit looser when I go around and not pull it so tight. And I actually was a lot happier with that result. Sliding it off was a lot easier. Trying to make sure I'm in the right spot. And I found it really, that's a lot. That's more glue than I need. I found it really does not take much glue to get these to hold. Now I just wrapped and wrapped and wrapped until I couldn't go all the way around again, and then I cut it off and glued it down. You could count your loops if you like, if you want a certain number of them. I didn't do that. I just went round and round and round till I didn't have enough to make another complete loop. And I never even went back and counted to see how many I did get. Okay, we're getting close to the end here. Yeah, we can do one more, I think, or finish it off on this side. So see, there's not a lot left. So we're going to take and just snip that right there toward the end, and we're going to glue it down. I did try to adjust my camera a little bit, so hopefully I won't be going off camera as much as I have in the past. We'll see. Alright, so give that a little bitty second to dry here. Find my pen and put it back in my glue. There we go. And see, it just slides right off. But if you wrap it really tight, you're gonna struggle a little bit. So we actually need 2 of these. So I'm going to make one more. Oh, here we go. Let's use, is that the right color? Yep. So again, we're just going to loop this over. And it's okay if you go a little bit bigger. You can pull that part of it tight. Oops. Didn't mean to get quite that much of a crease in it. Okay, so I just kind of mark the edge of the paper with my thumbnail, just so I know where to put my glue. And again, it doesn't take a lot. And then I do like to let my tweezers help me pinch that tight and get that loop closed so it doesn't come undone when I put it on my quilling cone. Put that back out there where you can see that. So actually, let me see if this will, if you can see that better. Yeah, I keep wanting to go the wrong way because my camera's backwards. And there's a reason for that, but I won't go into detail. So let's see, I've got the initial loop and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8. That's how many I ended up getting out of it. Let's see. All right, so we're going to do this other one. So I can take this off of my tweezers here. And I definitely did get this loop a little bit bigger than the last one. But if you kind of nestle it close to the tine here, when you pull it up through the second slot, it helps you get that extra layer of strip up through there, rather than trying to just tug it through, which, you know, I did a couple times yesterday, and then I realized there's got to be a better way. So this is kind of where I struggle, is getting this to loop back in without bending, and I still didn't manage it. So I'm going to slide it back out this way just a little bit, and then slide it back over. And every time I go around, I just put a little dot of glue. As you can see, it's just the tiniest little dot. And I wrap it. I'm going to try to hold that with my thumb while I work this up through this next slot. There we go. That actually worked pretty good. Just another little dot of glue. Now, one of the things I noticed about her coils that she shows you in the video is that they're rounder. See, mine are not very round at the bottom. So that's the next thing I'm going to work on, and hopefully I'll be able to figure out how to do that. And maybe that's where my cardstock strips will come in handy, because they're a little stiffer and so they won't collapse as easily. I think I went one too far that time. Yeah, I did. And I apologize if you can hear the lawnmower. It doesn't sound like they're real close to the house, but I can kind of hear it, so you may be able to. All right, and we're going to come back up, pull it down, go around, and this way I can just see it a little easier. Yeah, and see, that time I didn't have hardly any left over. So we'll just put a little bit of glue on the tip of this edge of this paper here, and just press it down, and it slides right off. I like that. I really had to work hard on the first one. So then, you know what, let's go back to this and let's see how we're doing. Oh, we're doing pretty good. Okay, so we're going to flip this up, if hopefully. Maybe I'll just pick it up. There we go. I'll put a little glue out here on this edge, and a little glue out here on this edge. Now, I say a little, but I'm actually using more than, certainly more than I would on these coils or these loops, whatever. And you could pin it here if you like. I think I'm going to be okay. So, all right, so back to these. So then you're going to glue your two edges together, and I didn't get that one glued on there quite straight, so it's got a bit of a gap to it, but that'll be all right. So we're just going to put some glue here, and actually, because of that little raised area, I'm going to put it down here on the mat. I'm just kind of gently squeezing that together to get that glue to hold. And then we'll just give it a little pinch up here, just a gentle little pinch, so that the strip we're going to wrap it with will go around there nicely. So I like to start at the bottom on the, well, it's the side facing my right hand, because I'm right-handed. So, and I find that this just works better for me, but I've got to get a better hold on that. Okay, so then I kind of just spread the glue out a little bit and try to wrap that through there just a little bit. And once I think that glue's got a good firm grip, then I start wrapping my flower, or my petal. Man, I get that wrong more often than I get it right, and you probably have noticed that. Now, you could also use, and actually that would have been cute, I didn't think of it in time, a crimped strip for this would probably look really nice. And we're just making a petal here. We're not going to do the whole flower, but I'm going to wrap this, and then I'm going to crimp a strip, just because I think that I would like that. Now, normally I wouldn't glue that down in the middle, but because I'm going to crimp a strip and wrap it around, I'm going to go ahead and do that. Normally I would cut it off down here or at the tip, because I don't like it to finish in the middle unless there's going to be another wrap that goes around it. So just pinch the tip a little bit more. Now this next step was not part of the design. My crimper's sitting right here, and I saw it, so I thought, oh, I wonder what that would look like. I wish I had an even darker purple, because I think that would look even better. So we're going to get our little crimper out here. going to slide some stuff out of the way and just give that a little pre-curl. So this is my crimper, and we're going to use this bottom one here because I think the top one's just too tiny a crimp for this size petal. So it's, once you get it going, it just kind of takes care of itself. It's that first little step that's always kind of trips me up a bit. So now we've got our crimped strip, and we're going to go ahead and just start wrapping it. So like a lot of things, a lot of different kind of crafts or hobbies, it's really just about experimenting, trying different things. I mean, if you know, you just see something you like and you want to recreate it, that's fine. But if you know, you've got all these ideas, like I come up with ideas faster than my brain can, you know, write them down or remember them. So I'm just kind of always winging it because I had an idea, but I've forgotten what it was, blah, 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 blah. All right, so I don't think I'm going to get around that again. No, and if I was going to glue it with the tip down, I would go ahead and cut it off there. But since I don't know that that's what I'm going to do, yeah, I think that is what I will do if I decide to make any more of these. So I'm going to cut it off down here toward the bottom, or the narrowest portion of the petal, and glue it down. And there you go. I think that's really cute, actually. I like the crimped area around it. I think that's nice. Okay, so let's go back to the one we came here to finish, even though I am going to have to make more of those now because, I mean, come on. I like it. I think it's pretty. So we want to put this, glue this down. So there's a couple different ways we can do it, but I think I'm just going to put some glue on these more solid areas toward the center of the flower, like the base of these coils here, or loops. I use a lot of my words interchangeably. I hope that doesn't mess you guys up. Alright, so we kind of have that where we want it, and so now, try not to get my head in the way. What I want to do is I want to line this up in such a way that the tips of the green flowers or petals, whatever, come to the center. I don't have that very centered, but I think it's good enough. Oh, that's better. Okay, so now, yeah, so I don't know if you can see what I mean. I know I didn't describe it very well. I want the rounded part of this top layer, this mint green part, to kind of be centered in this gap between the bottom petals. So, what I would probably do now, because I would just want to do something easy, I'd probably put like a little gemstone in the center of that. Either a sticky back or a glued one, whatever I had. But I want to try something a little different. And I don't know if this is going to be a good idea or not, but let's try. Oh, I do have that, but I think that's just too much color. I think if I go back and I gather these little pink strips, maybe I can do something cool. These might be too small. I think they are. Those definitely are. Okay, so you know what? Let's just grab a whole nother long strip. And it is, let's see here. They're 10.5 inches. So what I want to do is I'm going to cut them, you know what? I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to cut them in half. And then I'm going to fold them and cut them in half. So that gives me 4 strips, 4 shorties, if you will. And each one is, let's see here, my cork is so old it's like coming apart. These are just over 2.5 inches a piece. I would say 2 5/8 roughly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of lay these out. And actually, maybe if I want the center, I don't think I need to be perfect. Let's just do it like this. I'm going to glue that. Put another little glue dot there. And we're going to glue this. And what I should have done was I should have done that. I didn't. Oh. That looks pretty good. Since I'm going to pinch it here, I'm just going to go ahead and give those a pre-curl. Should have done that before I started gluing. Okay, do that one. And we're going to put another little dot. And we're going to glue that down. That's a bigger dot than I probably wanted, but it'll work. Stuck to my finger. Alright, put my pin back in because I really get tired of having to unclog that thing. And what we're going to do now is we're going to coil these toward the center. And I'm just using a slotted tool. And I'm going to go as far as it'll let me go until I get to that intersection there. And we're going to do this one. And we're just going to go all the way around. I don't remember. I saw somebody else do this and I thought, oh, I had never tried that before. I should have, again, taken note of the name, but I didn't. And anyway, so to whomever you were, thank you for posting this. It's inspired me to, wow, I can't get that one in there. It's inspired me to try this because I really liked the finished look. I thought it was really cute. And I'm all about the cute. Well, 2 more to go. There we go. UPS is driving through the neighborhood. Somebody's getting a package. Somebody must have taken advantage of Prime Days. You know, we didn't. We didn't buy a single thing. There were a couple things we even needed, but we didn't buy a single thing. Okay, so I believe at this point she uncurled hers a little bit, but I don't know that I want to do that. I think I kind of want to just lay it in there and then add my gemstone, or hold on just a moment. I want the glitter. Some Nouveau glitter drops. I think I'll put that in the center, although I should have gotten blue, not purple. All right. It's not quite the right shade of blue, but it will work. So we're going to glue this down. And while I'm getting that to dry, or waiting on it to dry, I should say, we will go through our gemstones and see if we don't see something there that we like better. Okay, just putting a little pressure on that. Now, let's grab my gemstones. Should be storing that like that. Alright, so I probably have way too many of these things, but I know other people who have more, so I feel okay about it. Oh, there's a, well, again, I'm not using purple. Okay, there's black. That could be cool, but they're a little too small, I think. White. Let's see, those are clear, but again, too small. I need something a little bigger. White. Oh. Those might work. Might be a little too small. So let me go to these. Oh yes, I think we can use one of those. Let me just see if there's anything else in here that I might like better. Oh, now we're down to doilies and such. So I think that's all my jewels. I'm sorry, I disappeared on you to go digging around. I do have these, like, they're little pearl pieces. I think they're all taped closed. So I haven't used any of them yet. Which size? I need the bigger size, so I'm going to have to figure out how to get that tape off of there. Oh, well, it's clear over here. No wonder I'm not having any luck. Let's try that. Oh. All right, zooming in. What do y'all think? Huh? Oh, too far. Oh, I like it. Okay, that's it. We're not even gonna explore those, because I like this one with that tape stuck back down. I'll move all this out of the way. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, just in case it pops out of there, or, you know, whatever glue I use ends up showing up a little bit, I'm going to use my Nuvo drops because they're a little bit sparkly. So in case anything ends up showing. Now normally you want to test this off on a piece of paper because you're literally just going to make little drops with it. But because I'm going to use it as a glue, I'm not too concerned about that because I'm going to spread it out a little bit anyway. And then just drop my pearl in there and give it a push. Oh, that is so cute. Look at that. Now, I can't tell you exactly where I got those little pearls from. They don't have holes in them. I want to say I might have gotten them from AliExpress years ago. I don't know, but if that's true, then they're probably available on Amazon or by other sellers. Oops, let me bring that back. I just think that's so pretty. So there you go. We tried to follow her inspiration. You know, we definitely stepped off of the path a little bit, but that's okay. I'm going to clean that tip off. And I like where we ended up. So don't fret too much about the journey. Just enjoy the destination once you get there, because I think we did all right with this one. I'm trying to get that bottle to stand up, and it's out of balance now. Okay, so let me pull these back in here so you can kind of see. So we used a little bit of everything and a bunch of different techniques. And once again, there we go. This one we put the points in toward the center. This one we put them out. Made a smaller, same shape coil, just a different size. This was a full strip at 10.5 inches. These were half strips at 5 1/4. Both of the centers for the flowers were each a full strip, but they still came out shaped differently, which is interesting. But it's partially the way I did it, because these I just did traditional coils and let them unwind a little bit and then glued them and pulled the eye down, whereas these I wrapped around my comb. So that's the main difference there. These were used, I used the comb, and this I used the regular coils in the holes. Otherwise, you know, I don't think there's too much to share, other than I am going to make some more of those. Let me get it here where you can see it. I'm still working on that. It happens when I zoom in and out. So I like that. So I'm going to sit here and make some more of those. And I don't know how I'll finish them. If I'll finish them like this, or if I'll do something different. I have yet to decide. Maybe I'll make one of those fluffy coils. I do still have a strip of my pre-fringed, where are we at? Pre-fringed piece. It's, let's see, it measures 5 3/4, so that might be enough to get a little center in there with a little flare. We'll see. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I will try to add a pick at the end of this flower when I get it done. In the meantime, I will link Artistry Home, link for the shorts below. She may have a full-length video on her YouTube page, I don't know, but I thought these were really fun, and like I said, I like the bright colors. You could definitely use more muted colors if that's what you like. I think there's a lot of possibilities with this style. So, you know, have some fun and let me know what you think, and if you try it out, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask, and use what you have. I mean, I'm really, other than the fact I went out and bought some copy paper to make my own strips with my Cricut, and by the way, it is so much cheaper to do it that way for yourself. I figured it out. It's less than half a cent, I think, if I remember correctly, to make your own strips than it is to buy them at nearly, I'd have to do the math again, but it was a considerable difference. Now these are going to be shorter if you make your own, but they were so much cheaper that it really is worth it if you have access to the colored copy paper. I've bought mine at Walmart. I'm sure that there are plenty of other places you can get it. Mine are all Astro Brights, but I'm sure that, again, there are plenty of other places who probably make it. I thought about using construction paper, but I've used construction paper before on my Cricut mats, and it really leaves a lot of debris behind, a lot of fuzz. So I don't recommend that unless you like cleaning your mats, because the dirtier they get, the less sticky they get. So you're going to have to, you know, deal with that too. But anyway, I digress. So, you know, I'd love to hear what you think. I really like these, and I'm going to make some more. So I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. And this is Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. I hope you have a happy crafty day.